horrible. It's just
It was a third and a bit. Oh, so it was about a quarter of a good movie.
the middle of it sucked.
Oh, God. Alright. We got another one from the lovely folks at VHSPS. This is better than Carnage.
Not as good as the refrigerator.
Not a high bar to clear. Nowhere as good as the refrigerator. But,
can anything be as good as the refrigerator?
I mean, Evil Dead 2 is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah. This is an accurate statement. Alright, so...
Okay, so the best thing about this movie is Carol Kane.
Yes.
Actress playing Jill, and also who played Grandmama in the Addams Family movies.
Now, keep in mind, this movie came out in 1979. Addams Family came out in, what, 91?
93-ish. It could not.
I
It
thought
was
Values was
early
93.
It was early 90s.
Values was 93.
Yeah. So,
She could not have been much older than like her 50s.
yeah.
To be playing Grandmama. And you can see it in her face. It's a very distinctive face.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. I love your hair. I do. You look like me, which is not a thing I get to say about
Often.
anyone,
I
human
love how
beings.
they just pick a random scene to put at the end.
Yeah, that's one thing VHSPS does, is at the very end, they just put a random scene over their website.
So, What a Stranger Calls is a 20-minute short film that is fantastic.
Yeah.
That someone then decided to bolt an extra movie onto after they saw Halloween and were like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Nope.
So,
turns out they couldn't.
this movie was recommended to me by my 9th grade English teacher, who's a big, he's like you, big horror fan. Like, wanted to make a horror series and everything.
Stop autofocusing. It drains
So-
your battery.
I watched this movie back when I was in high school, and I thought it was great. But I hadn't seen Halloween at that point. So I didn't know that this movie was just ripping off Halloween and doing it poorly.
And then Scream ripped off the opening 20 minutes.
Well, that was basically just an homage because
Yeah.
Wes Craven was a big fan of it.
Well, of course he was. It's a fantastic fucking short film at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, and it just,
Hell, I'm positive my mom told me about this movie. Like, as it's scaring the crap out of her or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, the first... and she specifically never told me about anything that happened
After the first 20 minutes.
the first 20 minutes, so...
And like you look through the trivia and it all talks about the first 20 minutes and how legendary it is.
Because No.
Because the rest of the movie is about following the killer after he breaks out of the mental
you
institution.
get so invested in Jill, and then they never
She's-
show her until almost the end.
She's gone. Like, yeah, okay, she's the babysitter, and they are not writing her well at
No.
all, because, like,
It's clearly 40-year-old dudes writing
teenage girls on the phone chatting with their friends,
Yeah.
which was the thing. Like, oh, look at those silly girls calling their friends.
Yeah.
Now it's, look at those silly girls taking Instagram photos. Society hates teenage girls. They're, like, scum.
Society hates women in general.
Yeah, but really specifically teenage girls and anything they're into. Like, One Direction or Twilight.
Yeah.
Not that Twilight was good or anything, but, like,
I mean, it was better than what came after it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the knockoff YA movies were worse than Twilight.
Yeah.
Which is saying something, because those movies suck! But, okay, so Jill is just like, she's just babysitting, and I can attest that when you're a babysitter who's done this a lot, you don't check on the kids. Because you know the parents have just fucking put them to bed. And you do not want to go up there, open the door, and risk those kids waking up and wanting to play.
Yeah.
You just want to sit on that couch and just earn your dollars. And she has a protractor to do geometry homework.
Yeah, she's doing homework with a protractor, which you would never see nowadays.
Oh yeah, nowadays you were futzing on it like that's what you would do. Like, bro, I mean, come on, like she's doing her homework.
Yes, but
She's a
nowadays.
good girl. But yeah, she gets a phone call some creepy asshole on the line is, "Have you checked the children?" And then hangs up. And then keeps calling and, like, saying creepy things.
Yeah.
And it freaks her the fuck out. Now, she calls the police. Now, they are limited in what they can do, but thankfully the guy on the other end of the line is trying to
Yeah,
help.
he's trying. Because at this point, he hasn't said anything threatening. He's just said, "Have you checked the children?" and hangs up.
Yeah, which is not, like, yeah, that's creepy, and he's fucking with you, and maybe you should, like, make a really loud noise and, like, fuck with him.
Yeah.
Feel free. And then, like, she's like, he keeps calling me, and they're like, alright, we'll try and track the call.
Well, first he tells him, he tells her, "Get a whistle." And when he calls again, whistle really loud into the phone. You'll blow his eardrum out.
I already said that.
Oh, was okay.
He said make a noise.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It sounded very general.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
This part of the movie was really good.
Yeah, this part
It's
was
really
good.
tense. There's some solid camera work. And you get a really good sense of location for the house, because she
Yeah.
goes around, checks the front door, goes to the freezer, which has been opened, gets herself some ice cream.
Yeah.
Little thief. And some booze. Okay, that they would actually potentially be mad about.
Yeah, they would actually be upset about that. But the only complaint I have about the opening is when we see the stationary shot of the entranceway, it kind of looks like security footage. And I'm not sure if that's just the quality of the tape had deteriorated by that point,
Probably.
or if that was the camera itself.
I mean, it was also that they were using really fixed tripods for a bunch of shots.
Yeah.
Like, and this is pretty bad quality, so, like, all the exteriors at night are just like a slab of black.
Yeah.
It's not, like, intended viewing experience, but
I mean, we're
take what you can get.
yeah, because this is not an easy movie to find. The first time I was able to watch this, I got lucky and it came on one of the movie channels.
Yeah.
So this is not an easy movie to find for some reason, because, you know, the first 20 minutes everyone is in love with, but you can't find it.
So it does, in a way, kind of remind me of The Hitcher, in that there's a really good opening to a movie, and then it just kind of, like, putters around in the middle,
Yeah.
trying to extend its length. Now, fortunately, this one ends better than The Hitcher, which
Yeah.
just, like, didn't know what to do at all.
Because, I mean, basically, the entire middle is, you know, he breaks out of the mental institution.
7 years later.
And the cop is chasing him down. And it's, you know, this whole thing. And it's just like Halloween, where he almost gets him, and then he almost gets him again.
The guy from Halloween, the doctor, what's his name? I always forget.
Dr.
it.
Loomis?
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, we got a private detective doing the Dr. Loomis thing.
Yeah.
But he is no Donald Pleasance, so it's not nearly as enthralling
Yeah.
as watching Donald Pleasance expound upon how evil Michael is.
Yeah.
Instead, they actually have to show us the killer, basically being homeless in this city.
Yeah.
And he is creepy, but in a sort of, oh, it's that weird guy at the party way.
Yeah. Like,
Not in a, oh no, I'm gonna get stabbed way.
yeah, he's not the guy that's going to whip his dick out. He's just the guy that walks in the room and you're immediately uncomfortable.
Because you know he wants to whip his dick out, but he's too terrified to do it.
Yeah.
Which is the whole vibe of this guy, is that if he wasn't a coward, he would be so much worse.
Yeah. Which makes it all the more jarring when we see the beginning and the end where he clearly has no fear.
Yeah, he's cuckoo.
Like,
And we do talk to the lady at the hospital, and it's like, oh yeah, we had him on antipsychotics, antidepressants, lithium, shock treatments.
oh no, depressants. It wasn't antidepressants, it was depressants.
Oh. Maybe they tried some LSD, I don't know.
I mean, it was the 70s.
The
so,
CIA was big into seeing what LSD would do to people.
And they found out.
Basically, everyone gets high. Shocker. Could have told you that. Anyway, he's just not, like, scary enough.
Yeah, and he's not that compelling.
No, he's creepy, but there's a difference between compelling and creepy.
Whereas I think part of what made Michael so compelling, even without any
seeing much of him at all.
without seeing much of him or really seeing a whole lot of backstory other than the thing he did in the beginning of the movie.
And Loomis talking about
And Loomis talking about him is like, you know, the whole thing of you never see his face and, you know, like...
And the actor they had playing Michael had an imposing girth to him.
Yeah, he had a good figure for it, kind of like David Prowse.
I know, like, they kind of didn't... I know there was some, like, issues with the actors playing Jason where some of them were a little short for what the, I guess, the producers wanted, but, like, it's not just about the height. Like, they got, like, meaty guys to play Jason, and they put the big coats on them, and you could still see that they were meaty guys.
Right.
Which is different than with, like, Freddie and Robert Englund, who, in the sweater, is still lanky as shit.
Right, but the difference with that is that, you know, with Freddie it was all his personality and not his figure.
Yeah, so he didn't... It was better if he wasn't, like, physically imposing, because
Yeah.
that wasn't the point of him. But, so this guy is just... He's not scary, even, like, when he's, like, creeping on that one bar lady.
Yeah.
Which is, like, a solid chunk of the movie, because we have to watch her going home for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that went on a way too long.
God.
It was like Birdemic, where he was driving to work and you
Yeah.
see everything that happens.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I fully admit that this movie seemed better the first time I saw it because I had not seen when it was ripping off.
and there's, like, moments where the killer, I can't even remember, like, his name.
Kurt Duncan?
Duncan?
Yeah.
Sounds right. Like, there's a moment where he's at a homeless shelter and he just breaks down naked in the bathroom crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't fit this movie at all, but he's doing this right.
Yeah.
Like, if this was what the rest of his character was going for, you could build a character around this. They weren't. It didn't build into anything.
I mean, all they did was they had him repeating some mantra at one point that he later uses when he's in the house that alerts her to the fact that he's there.
Yeah, it's just... It's...
I
The
don't like-
whole middle section where the private detective is tracking him down, he goes to, like, a party where everyone's drunk, and you're just like, what is this? What's going on? I mean,
and then
there's a character we know, but why is he here? What's happening?
yeah, and then we find out that the guy throwing the party was one of the cops that was there.
Yeah.
So he's...
So, everything in this middle section is, like... It's a good episode of Columbo, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and it wouldn't be so jarring if the movie didn't immediately get better as soon as Carol Kane was back on screen.
Yeah, like, we catch up with her 7 years later. She's got a nice husband. She's in the suburbs, and she's got two sweet kids.
Two adorable children.
And it's like, you know, with just a little bit of setup for Duncan leaving, if we had cut from that first 20 minutes to this movie would be great. Because suddenly, she's not the babysitter, she's the mom whose children were killed.
Yeah.
Or she's in that place mentally.
Right.
And we know what that, like, is to her. We've been through that trauma with her. And the movie, to its credit, does that, but for, like, the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we got, you know, we got a great beginning and a good end, and it just kind of meandered for the rest of it.
Because they wanted to set up Loomis, or their version of Loomis.
Yeah.
And we did not care.
Yeah, they wanted to do Halloween. And, I mean, like
we were so bored in the middle of this. We were all on our phones. You two were on IMDb. I was on Twitter.
Yeah, like you said, this movie was originally just that opening 20 minutes. And then...
It was a fantastic 20 minutes.
Yeah.
As soon as she came back on screen, we're like, okay, phone's down.
Carol
We gotta
Kane's
pay
back!
attention again. We really cheered. We're like, yay, she's back!
Hi, Grandmama!
But yeah, so...
I want to meet her and just shake her hand for, like... I saw the first 20 minutes of When a Stranger Calls. Shame
Fantastic.
It is a shame the rest of the movie wasn't about you.
So, I definitely recommend the opening of this movie.
If you can find it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you can find the first 20 minutes of this movie, it's a better episode of The Twilight Zone than a lot of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Like, without the Rod Serling setup. But, yeah, no, it's
And
just...
actually, if you were to add a Rod Serling setup, you'd have about the runtime of an episode of
Yeah,
Twilight Zone.
you would. And an outro, I guess.
Yeah. But, I mean, the outro is like 2 minutes tops, so
Again, yeah, it's just that. But that's exactly my point. It's a fantastic little piece of horror storytelling and
Yeah.
dramatization. It's just great. I'm running out of battery. Fine. I don't have much else to say about this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, try and track down the opening of this movie if
Amber?
you can.
I think y'all pretty much said everything.
Yeah.
There is a direct-to-TV sequel called
and
When
a
a Stranger Calls
remake,
Back,
which is kind of not.
and the remake, which is
Kind
garbage.
of not. Yeah, don't. Just see if you can find the first 20 minutes of this. Alright, good night. Happy Halloween.
Ish.
Happy October, motherfucker!